Making sure that the bands are around the ankles and making sure that the band color, which is tied into the actual resistance, is appropriate for the athlete. So we don't want to create a band that doesn't allow the athlete to be shoulder width and wider. We don't want the athlete to come inside of shoulder width. We don't want to see this movement right here in this motion. We always want to make sure that they're in that athletic position, bent hips, knees, and ankles, keeping the toes forward so we cue in, lead with the heels, and making sure that back is nice and straight, not dropping a shoulder or showing the head to where we see a lack of core stability. So notice leading with the heel so the toe stays forward, going shoulder width and wide. Lay on our side with the knees bent to 90 degrees. The heels are going to stay together. So the idea here is that we're just lifting the top knee as high as possible without rotating the hips. If you see an athlete can't control their hips, they're rotating it too much, you can actually stand behind them, giving them a brace so that they can't move or rotate that, or you can tell them to go up against the wall, or just cue them into making sure that there's no rotation there. Okay? That's one of our big hip strengthening movements here, where we're going to be shoulder width apart with the heels. We want to make sure that the toes are off the ground so we have a nice good emphasis on pushing through the heels, which is going to relate all the push in the hamstrings and the glutes. We want to make sure that the heels are close enough to the hips so that we're actually getting the most out of the hamstrings. Sometimes we have them too far away, we get too much work in the quads. In fact, if they're ever feeling in their quads, just tell them to pull the heels closer to the hips so everything is emphasized on the back side there. Notice that the hips are up to parallel. We're not going so much in a range of motion that they're feeling it in their lower back. If they are feeling it in their lower back, cue in and to squeeze the butt cheek and only go to parallel.